Hey guys, welcome back. In the last session, we have created the customer class and we have created the customer services. Okay, so the customer class will be having the details like account number, balance, and the name. And the customer service will be having a simple implementation for logging the customer details. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to perform the next implementation. We are going to write the implementation for the others as well. So the second one is that the first one is that we have logged the customer. The second implementation we are going to do is updating the balances. Okay, so then after that we will be writing for the giving the reward points to the loyal customers and applying the charges on the customer if there is a delay in paying the loan amount or anything extra. Okay, etc. Fine. So now let's jump and write the implementation for the updating the balances of a customer. Okay. So for this, what I'll do is updating the balance of a customer. So the customer for this what I have to do is I'll be taking the buy consumer as a parameter. I'll be taking the buy consumer interface. So why buy consumer in the sense? See, buy consumer will be taking the two parameters. One is the object. The other one is the argument you want to pass it. So over here, I want to update the balance of the customer, right? So I need to explicitly I need to get the balance from the client application and the customer details as well. Okay, so for that, buy consumer is the best option to use over here. Okay, so the buy consumer will be having a asset method which will be taking the two parameters. One is the object, the other one is the arguments you are going to pass it. So now what I'll do is I'll be providing the implementation for this asset method only. Okay, so the first one is the customer object, customer, and the other one is the argument which you are going to pass it. For example, I am passing the amount, transaction amount. So transaction amount is a double. Okay, I'll say small double, I'll say TX amount. This is the transaction amount, lambda expression, open the braces, semicolon. Now what you're going to do is you'll be setting up this balance to the customer account. Okay, so customer will be having the balance, right? We'll be setting up the balance. Set balance by getting the how we will be setting the balance. We will be setting the balance to the existing. We'll be setting the transaction amount to the existing balance. I'll say customer dot get balance, and we will be adding the transaction amount to that balance. Okay, simple, right? So what you're doing is you will be setting up the balance by getting the balance, initial balance, and what you're doing is you will be adding the transaction amount for that balance. Cool, right? Now what you're going to do is you'll be writing a simple sys statement, because see, the buy consumer or any other consumer interface which doesn't return any value, which will be accepting it, but it will not return any value. That's why we need to write a sub statement to check it whether it is updated or not, the balance is updated or not. Okay, so I'll write updated balance for customer name, customer dot get name, fine, and the balance is customer dot get balance. So what I have written, so updated the balance for the customer and the balance. Let me write this, and the balance is current balance. That's what. And this will be an implementation of the buy consumer asset method. So we will be providing implementation for this asset method. Where this asset method is available in the buy consumer only. Okay, so I'll write customer. And what is the other thing we are passing? Double. So let's pass the double as well. Okay, now here I'll write it as a by consume. That's fine. Okay, so it's a capital double. Let me import this one, import consumer. Fine. Here also let me change to the D. Fine. Okay, so what we have done? So we have taken the consumer and the transaction amount as a parameter, and we are adding the transaction amount to the customer balance. So once we did that, what we are doing is we are simply writing a sysout statement that updated balance for the customer name and the balance is and the balance is so and so. Okay, and I'll make this implementation as a public so that everyone can able to access this. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So the next implementation, the next thing what we are going to do is we are going to give the reward points to the customer. How do we reward a customer? How do we reward a customer with loyalty points based on their activity? So for that also I'll be writing the implementation. Let me go here. Okay, so I'll be going to give the loyalty points to the customer. Okay, so what I'll do is so if I want to give the loyalty points to the customer, so let me write it, giving loyalty points to customer. So giving loyalty points to customer. So first, because it will be accepting the two parameters. One is the object, the customer object. The other one is the reward points. So reward points in terms of it would be in an integer format only. So I'll say I'll be using, for my requirement, I may use this object int consumer, object int consumer. I can use by consumer also. There is no problem in it. But the thing is that, see here, you will be taking the one side you will be taking it as an object, the other side you will be taking as an integer. So better to go for the object int consumer. Okay, so object int consumer. So object int consumer will be having a, again it will be having a same asset method which will be taking the two parameters. One is the customer, the other one is the reward points, the other one is the primitive value. So here in our case, so it is a reward points, reward point. Okay, and the expression, open the braces, semicolon, and now what you are going to do is you'll be providing the implementation over here. So you'll say that system dot out, I'll just print it. Okay, system dot out println rewarded the customer. I'll be give the customer name, reward the customer with the loyalty points, So I'll be giving the reward points over here with the loyalty points. I'll have rewarded the customer with the loyalty points, and this will be implementation of object int consumer, which will be taking the customer as a parameter. Let's say object int consumer. Okay, let's import this one. Fine. Let's format the code. Okay, so what we have done over here, we are going to give the reward points to the loyal customer. So the customer, we have written a implementation like that. We will be adding the reward points to the customer, and we have like giving the reward points, like how many reward points you are going to add it. Okay, we are just writing a simple set of statement. That's it. Nothing much we are doing it. No implementation. We are going to add it. Okay. So we are just giving the rewarded customer name with the reward point, something like that. I just want to make sure like how we are going to use this object in consumer, object double consumer, by consumer, and the consumer interface. Okay, so the next one is the applying charges. I'll give this applying charges as a assignment. You can do it by yourself. Okay, so we can use the object int or object double, because charges is kind of like, prices, right? If you're adding charges, you'll be adding the amount to it as a find, right? So you can try this one. So if you have any problem, please comment in the video. Okay, so let's jump to the next one. Okay, so now in this video what we have done is we have created the implementation for the customer services. So for the one is that we have updated the balance of the customer, and we have added the reward points to the customer as well. Okay, so in the next session what I'll do is I'll be writing the client code. I'll be making a call to these implementations. Okay, so I'll be executing these one by one. I'll be executing these one by one. Okay, I hope you understand this the requirement which we have like discussed it. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay. Until then, thank you for watching.